Hey everyone, it's Eric with firearmtutorials.com, and today we're going to look at another way to clean these Tirant baffles. These things are getting pretty nasty. They're, I have no idea how many rounds I've shot through this, but there's a good amount of carbon on here, but more importantly, there are, if I can find the blast baffle, there's some lead deposits and stuff in here. So what I'm going to try and do is run them through the, give you a look, see if you can see what I'm talking about. You can't really tell too much because there's so much carbon on here, but if I were to clean this black carbon off, you'd see you know, some of the lead on there. But what I'm going to try and do is just throw these through the wet tumbler. We'll see if you know, what kind of results we get with that. And I have no idea how long I'm going to need to run this. These are pretty dirty, but I'll try for a couple hours and, you know, we'll monitor the progress. So let's get started. Okay, so we're dropping them in here. I'm going to put one of the pistons in. The only thing that really could possibly go wrong here is that it'll chew up the O-ring, but that's why I'm just going to do one. I'll put a little bit of Lemmy Shine in here. I don't know that I necessarily need it. Lemmy Shine is what you put in here when you're tumbling brass, and it makes it like extra shiny. I'll just put a little bit in. Don't know if we need that or not. I'm going to go ahead and throw the tube in here too. The finish on this is pretty nasty anyway, so I'm not really worried about messing up the outside of it, but we'll see what happens, because with the Tirant, the way these baffles are, see how they've got the hole in the side here? That carbon just blows right against the inside of the tube and it makes the baffle stack really hard to get out. So we'll take a look and see what happens there, but just to give you guys a look at what the stuff looks like before we put it in. There's the black ones, and then there's these gray looking ones, and then we've got the piston's pretty nasty too. So I'm going to seal it up and we'll run it for a little while and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so this has been running for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours maybe. I actually stopped it before I went to bed because I wasn't sure, A, what it was going to do to the tube here, and B, I'm a little concerned about what the pins are going to do to the anodizing. So if we look at the tube here, it definitely has worn away some of the finish. This isn't too much worse than it was before, but it's definitely doing something. Give you guys a better look at. So you can see it almost looks like a I don't even know how to describe this. Almost like a fleck type paint job you would see on a car. So considering the state that this was in before, I think I'll actually just leave it in here if the baffles aren't clean and see kind of where I can get it, because I may just Cerakote or Duracoat that over. I hate sticking my hands in this dirty water, but let's look at what the baffles are like. Okay, so looks like it's done a tiny bit to the anodizing, but nothing too major. Now if we look at the baffles themselves, now you can definitely tell a distinct difference between the gray and the black ones. You can see there's still some carbon and or lead built up inside there. This is the part that I was really trying to focus on, and down in here you can see it's cleared out some of this, but there's still a good amount of it in there. The black, same kind of thing. See if I can get a better shot of this. You can see it's definitely doing something a lot better than I could do, you know, scrubbing it with a brush. So I'm going to put it back in here. I'll put the tube in here and I'll let it run for, you know, another few hours, and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so we're sitting on about 8 hours of solid tumbling, at least for the baffles themselves. I added the tube in here after a little while, and I put all the pistons that I have in here. After I looked at the last piston, I did it off camera, but it really seemed like the O-ring didn't have any wear at all from going through here, which is a little surprising, but So I decided to put the rest of my pistons in there as well. So we'll see, this water should be pretty nasty. Oh my God. I've actually never seen this thing this bad before. That is just, ugh. It's just like sludge. All right, so obviously this is like really, really dirty, so I'm gonna have to move this so that I can dump it and put some fresh water in here too. So, okay, so like I said, this is pretty nasty. Just gonna dump it all, I guess. Wow. Well, the pistons look pretty good. Just right off the bat, they almost look brand new. All right, I'll go ahead and sort the pins out of these and then we'll take a look. Okay, so here's the finished product. This is about 6.5, 7 hours worth of wet tumbling, which in the wet tumbling world is a long time. I can get, filthy dirty brass clean in 2 hours, maybe 3 tops. So, but I mean, the results are pretty good. Let's see, I'll try and find one of the dirtiest pistons. Like I said, it didn't seem to really have any adverse effects on the O-ring. Okay, so this is probably the one I use the most. So if we take a look down in here, what I wanted to do was obviously get the exterior clean, but I wanted to try and get down inside there, which it did do a good job, obviously better than I could do with any kind of hand tools or sticking anything down there. So that's that. This thing, the barrel spacer, or the whatever they call this, the in lieu of using the spring, I haven't seen that AAC logo in like a year at least, so I know that got clean. The spring, you can kind of try and wipe it down and stuff, but obviously this did a pretty good job. Right in between the cracks and stuff, there's still a little bit of carbon buildup. You can see it here, but overall a decent job. Let's look at the baffles. So it did a pretty good job on the baffles. You can see deep down in that ridge, if I tumbled it for a little bit longer, I could probably get that out of there, but that looks pretty good to me. This side, it looks like it started to do some. You'd have to really leave it in there for a while to get that carbon and lead or whatever else you've got in there. Obviously these gray ones are going to be the cleanest because they're the cleanest when you shoot the gun. Now these dark ones, some of these were pretty caked on here. I think this was probably one of the first baffles in the stack when I had this assembled before I took it apart to clean it, because you can see there's a pretty thick amount of buildup on there. But it's still doing a decent job. I don't see any evidence of it really wearing the anodizing. Some of the stuff is just from me trying to clean it with brushes and stuff. But as we go down here, they all kind of look about the same. I didn't really want to leave them in here any longer than that. It looks like the blast baffle did the best though. Yeah, so this one's stainless steel. I don't know if that helps clean it, but right around the inside here, I mean, it's almost completely clean. So we look at the tube, it really looks about the same. Not completely silver. I don't know what this material looks like unpainted. This may be it, but what I was trying to get was down inside here. You can see there's a good buildup of carbon and lead and whatever else. And then down inside the walls of the suppressor. See if you can get a shot of that, but You can kind of see it there, that little bit of texture down inside there. It's basically between the baffles when the bullet goes through and kind of just blows a bunch of carbon in against the walls. So I was trying to do that and this very inside here. So it looks like it did a little bit, but really nothing worth writing home about. So anyways, I'd say if you were going to explore this route, this should give you a good idea of what to expect. It does great with the pistons. The baffles clean up pretty good. I don't think you really have to worry about wearing the anodizing. Like I said, these were in there for about 6 or 7 hours total. I don't see any evidence of the pins wearing off the anodizing. So this took literally no effort. I mean, I just put the stuff in there and I let it run. I didn't have to sit here with the brush or, you know, any chemicals or anything. So if you've got one of these wet tumblers, this is still a good option for you. So hope you guys enjoyed it. As usual, if you have any questions, let me know, and thanks for watching.